values diagram. But first of all, what is PED? PED actually stands for price elasticity of demand, which we can clearly see here. And there's a different range of PED values which we will go through right now. But first of all, PED is a measure of responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a good with respect to a change in its price. So let's draw this diagram here. Let me first draw our x and y axis is here. Perfect. Now here, as you know, we have our price here, and here we will have our quantity over time. As this is just a theory diagram and we don't actually have a specific time period. We don't have the short run, if it's the long run, and we don't have a specific product. So we usually, in theory diagrams, we always use quantity over time. Now, we know that our demand curve is always downward sloping. How do we know this? This is because according to the law of demand, it highlights a negative relationship between the price and the quantity over time. And this also explains why all PED values are always negative. So, now, knowing that, we can actually draw our downward sloping demand curve over here. At the top over here, our PED is equal to infinity, meaning that it's completely elastic. Now, a bit downwards, about in this area, our PED is greater than 1. Now, at approximately the center, where the price is equal to the quantity, approximately here, our PED is equal to 1, and we call this unit elastic. And here, this would have been relatively elastic. Now, here, our PED is greater than 0, but it's less than 1. So this would be relatively inelastic. Let me just write this one better. Okay, and lastly, here at the bottom, our PED is equal to 0. So it's completely inelastic. So as a recap here, I can actually write it down for every single one. Completely elastic. But here, it's relatively elastic. Here it's unit elastic or unitary elastic. It's your preference. So I can write it both ways for your understanding. And here it's relatively inelastic. And lastly, here it's completely inelastic. Let me make some space. So it's completely inelastic. So that, in conclusion, is your diagram when you want to show the range of PED values. Now, when it comes to actually drawing values for when the PED is elastic or inelastic, we use different diagrams. But otherwise, this would be a diagram. And of course, this was just a small test for you guys if you were noticing. Here, I actually forgot to label my axes. So always make sure you watch the videos and see if there's any mistakes in the diagrams, because I usually do this intentionally. So here we have our price. Here we have our quantity. Alright, and that's all.